If you only read one book this year, make it this one. Hi everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, a doctor, lawyer turned homeschool mom of 3 kids ages 10, 7, and 5. If you're interested in videos about secular homeschooling, raising a child with ADHD, and living a more essentialist lifestyle, you have come to the right place, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. In today's video, I am super excited to be doing a collaboration with one of my best friends in the world. Her name is Joy from Joy-Filled Journey, and she is one of the YouTube mamas that I became friends with ages ago in a virtual way. Joy and I have never met in real life, though I hope to do so at some point in the not-so-distant future, and I just respect her so much as a mom. If you have any interest in classical homeschooling, particularly in classical conversations, she's a great channel to check out and a great person to reach out to on either Instagram or on YouTube, because she is a director of CC. As some of you may know, when we started our homeschool journey, we actually started in CC, or Classical Conversations, and there's still many principles of that program that I use to this day. Over the next 4 weeks, Joy and I will be discussing Greg McKeown's book, Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, and we will be talking about how it impacts our lives both as moms as well as homeschool moms, and in Joy's case, as a small business owner as well. I think that we live in an age where more is considered better. The more you do, the more admired you are. The more you do, the more impressed people are. The busier you are, the more people reflect upon their own lives and think, why can't I do as much as she does? Even the expression, how does she do it all, is like a mark of pride, a mark of achievement in our culture, right? Like, this person does this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Like, there's an endless list of things that they accomplish in their day that we cannot. And Greg McKeown's book, Essentialism, really challenges that presumption that we have in our society today, that more is better. And his argument is basically that more is usually not better, that actually more is often a way to fail on many levels, or a way not to succeed on many levels, but rather to incrementally progress in like a million different directions, as opposed to progressing tremendously in 1 or 2 directions. And in terms of homeschooling and motherhood, I think that we can often fall into the trap of listening to every single voice and every single good thing and trying to do all of the things. I've talked about this concept several times in my prior videos about homeschooling. If you go back to my video that I did a couple of years ago on my biggest mistakes homeschooling thus far, that's my major one, is that I received so much input, did so much research, was so inspired by a whole host of moms online, on Instagram, on YouTube, that I felt like I could and should be doing all of these things. That somehow magically I was going to be an ideal Waldorf mom, and an ideal Charlotte Mason mom, and an ideal classical mom, and an ideal traditionalist mom, and get it all done. I was also going to learn how to make souffles at the same time, and bake bread, and like wash my clothes and hang them out to dry on a picturesque clothesline, not an ugly clothesline. You know what I'm saying? I was going to curate this beautiful life for myself that included all the beautiful things I'd ever seen. And that impulse is really strong given the amount of input we receive every single day. We see things on Instagram, everybody's highlight reels. We see things on Facebook, again, celebrations, trips. Why am I not in Fiji right now? All of these things, like, when can we squeeze in a trip to Fiji, will cross your mind at some point, you know? Like, why am I not visiting every single national monument known to man? We have this inundation of information right now that makes it hard for us to make decisions, because we are continuously adding things to our bucket list. I actually have always despised those summer bucket lists and winter bucket lists where like somebody else prints out a chart for you of things that you're supposed to be doing and you're supposed to check them off. I mean, what if you don't like pumpkin patches in October? Do you have to go to a pumpkin patch? If you print out that list, that pumpkin patch checkbox is glaring at you, you know, trying to say that so you're doing something wrong by not going to a pumpkin patch, but you're not. Maybe you don't like pumpkin patches. Maybe pumpkin patches are not your thing. Maybe doing 50 things in the month of October isn't a good idea for anybody. My expectations of this book when I picked it up were somehow to teach me how to create a better task list, how to streamline my life so that the important things would get done. I did not realize that the book is really about so much more than that. It is about challenging your very mindset. This idea that you can get everything done, this idea that you should get everything done, This idea that everything, this imaginary list in your head of everything, has to be so long. So the very first part of the book is devoted entirely to exploring those hard-seated rules that we seem to have gotten into our heads, that we need to do all the things. And it challenges that presumption. Instead, it really asks you to do the hard work of figuring out what the important things are to you, which will not be the same as your neighbor or your sister or your mother or your friend. It will not and should not be the same. Not as a mother, not as a wife, not as a friend, not as a parent, not as a homeschool mom. In every facet of our lives, the mindset of an essentialist really asks, what is important to you, the most important thing, and how can you devote your limited time and resources to that endeavor in such a way that you make tremendous progress, as opposed to trying to split yourself out like a star, with sun rays in every direction, going a tiny bit at a time. The book is actually split into 4 different sections, and over the next 4 weeks, Joy and I will explore each of these sections. The first section of the book is labeled Essence, and it's really about what forms the core essence of an essentialist. First off, I would say that essentialism is a mindset, this idea of doing less, but doing it better, the disciplined pursuit of less. And there's many different elements to getting there, but I would like to differentiate it from minimalism, because I think it's a term that's often confused with minimalism. I certainly did when I picked up this book initially, because I was on this practical minimalism move, and I still am. I still want to be practically minimal. I still think there's great virtue into reducing the amount of clutter in your life, reducing the amount of stuff, reducing the things you have to take care of, etc. I think that has great merit and can ride hand in hand with essentialism. But essentialism is so much more than that. Essentialism is about every choice you make being a deliberate one. Not only about what you might buy or sell or donate, but also about what you choose to think about, what you choose to read, what you choose to imbibe, both mentally and, in your body, what you choose to do with the time that is given to you. And it's more than just a task list, though. It is not about creating time blocks. It is not about creating your 3 priorities for the day. It is about looking at every decision you make and asking yourself if this is the best use of your time and resources. So it's about stopping that reactive yes, whether it's in your workplace or to your children or to your friends, and actually considering, is this in line with my goals and values? Is this a good use of my time and resources? Is this the best choice for me? Not is it a good choice for me, not is it a good option, but is it the best? Because right now, in a time unlike ever before, we are presented with so many good options, both in homeschooling and in parenting and in life. We have so many options with what to do with our time. There's a myriad of sports activities. There's a myriad of shows on Netflix. There's a myriad of curricula to choose from, several of which are very good. But Greg McKeown would argue most of the choices we have laid out before us are trivial options, and many of them are completely unnecessary and not at all related to our actual goals and purpose. So although they might be very good options and very good activities, they are not the best ones for us. And if we don't do them, nothing bad would happen. So there's a distinction there, right? It's not simply saying, oh, is this a good thing to do? Sure. It's saying, is this a good thing to do? Check. And is it the best thing for me to do? And if it's not a hell yes, as he says in the book, then it's a no. And that question, asking that question, is this a hell yes? Like, yes, I want this. Like, yes, this is like so in tune with who I am and who we are as a family. Or is it a, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, that sounds good. Basically, his argument is that we don't have time to do the lukewarm yes anymore. If you are invited to a play date by someone that your kids don't really appreciate and you're just kind of like, I'm not sure, maybe say no. Maybe say, we're actually busy. We'll see. We'll check our schedule. Say whatever you like, but make it a conscious decision. When you see 5 grammar curriculums in a row and you've watched all these curriculum videos and you've already bought 2 and you think to yourself, oh, but this one sounds really good too, so maybe we could just fit it in. I've done this a lot, you guys. If you do this, think to yourself, is this a good option? Okay, yes, it seems good. But is this the best option? And best is a singular word, right? Note that. The best of something is one thing. And he makes this interesting observation in the first part of the book that the word priority used to be, up until the early 1900s, a singular term. If you had a priority, if something was a priority, it was in the number one slot. The priority was one slot, a singular item. Only as the Industrial Revolution happened, as time got freed up, as people were expected to do more and more, did the word priority become pluralized. So now we not only have one thing to do that's the most important, we have as many as we want, honestly. We can make a to-do list of 50 things if we wanted. Essentialism really challenges that. It asks you to say, what is the best thing for you to do with your time and resources right now? What is the best thing? Determine that, eliminate the rest, and do it now. Don't think about it for years. Don't put it off. Don't, consider that, one day. Really consider, what are the best things for you? I think as a homeschool mom, this has so much relevance. It has relevance in terms of chores. It has relevance in terms of curriculum choosing. It has relevance in terms of what extracurricular activities you choose for your kids. It has relevance in terms of what friend circle you develop. It has relevance in terms of what you take on at your co-op or at your church for activities for your own responsibilities. It has relevance to how you prioritize your family time. How much time are you going to devote to your relationship with your husband, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your kids? To acknowledge really that time is finite, that this is your life running on a linear course. Last year is over. The first 6 months of this year are done, and we are progressing with a limited amount of time and resources. So decide, do the hard work of actually deciding what is important to you and do it now. Eliminate the rest. I think it is so much more than just the fear of missing out that makes people do these things. It's also this desire to be everything to everyone, to be as good as you can be in every direction, in every facet of yourself, in every facet of everyone else. And I think letting go of that and really doing the hard work of deciding, okay, we're the type of family that does this. I'm the type of person that does this. This is how I'm going to best spend my time, can be so freeing and can open up so much time. I'll be honest with you guys, this book is so important to me because this is an area of my life that I struggle with so much. I have often tried to proceed in every different direction, to be a great mom and a great wife and a great parent and to be a great friend and to participate in co-op and to do all the things as best as I could. Not just things that were important to me, but things that seemed important to my roles. Things that seemed important to my role as a working mom when I was a working mom, as a homeschool mom now, as a neighborhood person now. This idea that I needed to do my very best at everything I encountered was very stressful. And even today, as I'm shedding things and working on eliminating things, I realize how much stress that puts on you to be continuously behind. Because when you take on too many things, when you refuse to acknowledge the finiteness of time in a day, in a week, in a year, you overwhelm yourself with what you have committed to. And I say that about curriculum. I say that about reading lists. I say that about YouTube commitments, about Instagram commitments, about work commitments. You overburden yourself by saying yes casually. The reason I said at the beginning of this video that if you read one book this year, it should be this book, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. The reason that we're doing this series is because without this fundamental understanding, without this core mindset shift of deciding what's important to you and going forward from there, I truly think you will continue to flounder, continue to feel overwhelmed, continue to need more and more planners and checklists and just to stay afloat, just to keep treading water. And I am in my early 40s now. I turned 40 last year and I want to do more than tread water. I want to really learn how to ride the waves, of my life. I want to enjoy the journey, not just suffer through it. And there's been a lot of suffering through it in the past, let me tell you. So as a homeschool mom, as just a mom in general and a wife and a person, I am ready to do the hard work of deciding what is important to me and pursuing those, using my time and energy to pursue those things and to let go of the rest and to feel the joy of missing out on the things that don't matter as much to me. So that is the introduction video to our series, you guys. I hope you will tune in for the subsequent videos. Joy is a very wise and funny person, so I'm sure her video will be great. Be sure to check her out. I will link her video in the description box down below and up above if I remember. As always, you guys, I so enjoy talking to you guys about these things, about the books I read. If there's any videos you'd like to see me do this year and the upcoming months of 2020, let me know in the comments down below. I definitely do note down things and move things and shift things in my filming queue based on what you guys say, because one of the things that is essential to me is this channel, and I do want to make it as useful and interactive as possible. I really value your time. Thank you so much for spending some of it with me, and I wish you the very best day. Don't forget to subscribe.